You know how you know the Indiana Fever had a good offseason? When even Sheryl Swoopes praises it. We've got a Sheryl Swoopes switch up.
Sheryl Swoopes has completely changed her stance on Caitlin Clark, and it happened live on television. After spending an entire year labeling Clark as overrated and overhyped while doubting her success in the WNBA, Swoopes is now praising the Indiana Fever star and her team.
Either you get on the bandwagon or you get left behind. Being a hater of Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever in Clark's rookie season, even insinuating that players would flee the team. The attention around
the basketball world is stunned. Nancy Lieberman even ended her friendship with Swoopes over these criticisms. Cheryl Miller called her out on a podcast. Yet now, as if none of it ever happened, Swoopes is acting like Clark's biggest supporter. The receipts don't lie, and I've got them all right here. Ready to break it all down and hear what Swoopes said? Let's get into it.
To all of our surprises, was somebody who's done nothing since 2023 but speak idiotically and speak like a delusional human being. The liar of them all. The king lie. The biggest projectionist of them all. I'm just going to make up things. Sheryl Swoopes.
Remember, when Sheryl Swoopes claimed Caitlin Clark, CLK, was a 25-year-old playing against teenagers. That wasn't just a simple mistake. It marked the start of a year-long wave of misinformation. Let's dive into the receipts on Swoopes' puzzling vendetta against one of women's basketball's biggest stars.
Let's also talk about how much more experience that gives you over other players coming in, right? So people say, dang, like he or she's killing them, but you have a 25-year-old playing against a 20-year-old.
The timeline of Swoopes' attacks has been both relentless and consistently inaccurate throughout Clark's record-breaking college career. Swoopes fired her first major shot on Gil's arena, questioning the legitimacy of Clark's NCAA scoring record. She boldly stated, "If Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, then Caitlin should have broken it in 4 years."
Ask me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set.
Okay.
Right? So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year, then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record?
This statement ignored a basic fact. Clark did break the record in 4 years, the exact same time frame as Plum. Swoopes falsely implied that Clark unfairly benefited from COVID-19 rules allowing a 5th year, despite Clark never actually using that extra eligibility. What makes these comments so problematic isn't just their inaccuracy, it's the absolute certainty with which Swoopes delivered them. She spoke with the confidence of someone stating that the sky is blue, rather than someone spreading misinformation that could be debunked with a simple Google search. And when confronted with corrections, instead of acknowledging her mistakes, Swoopes doubled down.
Caitlin Clark right now probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Carry on.
I know you like it.
Hell yeah.
Said that because when she comes to the league, regardless of what team she goes to that has vets on that team, she probably ain't gonna get 40 shots a game.
As Clark's career progressed, so did the attacks. When she was set to enter the WNBA, the predictions of failure grew louder. Will Caitlin Clark be a good pro? Absolutely. Will Caitlin Clark come into the WNBA and do what she's doing right now immediately? Absolutely not. It's not going to happen. Well, guess what did happen? Clark took the league by storm, leading all players in assists, breaking 62 records, and earning Rookie of the Year honors.
Didn't say she wouldn't be good. What I said was I didn't think Caitlin or Angel would come into the league and dominate immediately, which I don't think either of them did.
Respectfully, there is absolutely no way, even when we're trying to sit here and play semantics about dominating, there's no way that anyone can ever leave this season saying that both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese didn't dominate. You would have to further explain what dominance means for you to not sit here and say that a player who is leading the league in assists while averaging 19 to 20 points can dominate that season.
Even as Clark proved her wrong on the court, Swoopes shifted her criticisms elsewhere, this time targeting Clark's team and the culture around her. She claimed that the so-called circus created by Clark's fan base had fostered a toxic environment in the locker room.
People in the Fever were like, y'all.
That's not my point. There's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like it's a lot. It's a lot. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
This is where I want to be.
Yeah.
Comparing Clark's actual age, 22 at the time, real statistics, and undeniable achievements against Swoopes' fabricated narrative, a clear pattern emerges. This wasn't a respected analyst offering fair criticism. This was a calculated effort to downplay one of women's basketball's brightest stars at every turn, and the basketball world took notice. Nancy Lieberman, Stephen A. Smith, and ultimately Cheryl Miller stepped forward to challenge Swoopes' assertions. These weren't just random commentators. They were respected voices in the sport standing up to say, enough is enough.
What it do, Pete? Sheryl Swoopes is been missing. Sheryl Swoopes is MIA. They got a APB for Sheryl Swoopes. If you see Sheryl Swoopes, she did a lot of talking a few months ago about the Indiana Fever, the locker room environment, how people didn't want to play there, how people wanted to leave.
What could make a Hall of Famer like Nancy Lieberman end a 30-year friendship? As Swoopes continued her relentless campaign against Clark, the basketball community's patience didn't just wear thin. It completely broke.
I've known Sheryl since she was in college. I helped do her shoe deal with Nike in 1993, took her to her first ESPYs. I've known Sheryl, I've coached her, have a lot of respect for her. I called her when Caitlin was still playing at Iowa and she had just broken Maravich's record. And it was all over the place, as you and I have discussed, that, you know, there was this quote by Sheryl that said, you know, Caitlin was, 25 years old. She was, however old, 24 years old. She was a fifth-year senior. Right. She was taking 40 shots a game. Her records were illegitimate.